This is network addressing and basic troubleshooting. Topic Cisco switches. The first point is connect more devices. Home and small business network usually do not require more than one or two network devices in order to function efficiently. A wireless router equipped with wireless connection and a few wire connection is the only piece of networking equipment that is necessary in order to provide sufficient connectivity for the average small group of users. These routers are configured through a web browser and have an easy-to-use graphical user interface that guide you through the most common configuration items. Wireless routers that are designed primarily for home use are not appropriate for most business networks that must support more than a few users. Modern networks use a variety of devices for connectivity. Each device has certain capabilities for controlling the flow of data across a network. A general rule is that the higher the device is in the OSI model, the more integrated it is. What this means is that a higher level device can better analyze the data traffic and forward it based on information not available at lower layers. As an example, a layer 2 switches can filter the data and send it to only out the ports that is connected to the destination based on the MAC address. As switch and routers evolve, the distinction between them may seem blurred. One simple distinction remains: LAN local area network switch provide connectivity within the local area's network of the organization, where routers interconnect local networks and are needed in a wide area network environment. In other words, a switch is used to connect devices on the same network, and a router is used to connect multiple networks to each other. And we have and here we can see this model of switch, Cisco Catalyst 9300 series switches, and a router, in this case is Cisco 4300 series routers. In addition to switch and router, there are other connectivity options available for LANs, wireless access points that are deployed in enterprise-enabled configure and other devices, such as IP phones, to wirelessly connect to the network or share broadband connectivity. Firewalls guard against network threats and provide security, network control, and containment. The next point is Cisco LAN switches. When a local area network grows to the point where the four Ethernet ports provided by the wireless router are not enough for all of the devices that need to attach to the wired network, it's time to add a LAN switch to the home. A switch can provide connectivity at the access layer of a network, connecting devices to a LAN. A switch can allow the network to grow without replacing central devices. When choosing a switch, there are a number of factors to consider, including the following: type of ports, speed required, expandability, and manageability. Click each factor below for more information. In the first scenario, we have type of ports. When selecting a switch for your LAN, choosing the appropriate number of type of ports is critical. Most lower cost switches support only copper twisted pair interface port. Higher price switches may have fiber optic connection. These are used to link the switch to other switch that may be located over long distance. The Cisco Catalyst 9300 series has a variety of options depending on your environment. Okay, the next is speed required. Ethernet twisted pair interface on a switch have a defined speed. A 10 over 100 Ethernet port can only function at either 10 megabits per second or at 100 megabits per second. What this means is that even if the device that you are connected to the 10 over 100 switch interface port is capable of connecting at gigabyte speed, the maximum speed at which it will to be able to communicate will be 100 megabytes per second. Switch Switches may also include gigabit Ethernet ports. If your internet connection is more than 100 megabytes per second, then a gigabit port is necessary to take advantage of the higher internet bandwidth. Gigabit Ethernet port will also operate at 10 over 100 megabits per second. Gigabit Ethernet sometimes represent as 1000 megabits per second. The Cisco Catalyst 9348S switch is the figure has to 40 gigabytes per second of link ports to provide a fast path for the 48 ports to access the rest of the network and the internet. Similar to a switch port, Ethernet NICs operate the specific bandwidth such as 10 over 100 or 10 over 100 over 1000 megabytes per second. The actual bandwidth of the attached device will be the highest common bandwidth between the NIC network internet card on the device and the switch port. The next is expandability. Networking devices come in both fixed and modular physical configuration. Fixed configurations have a specific type and number of ports or interfaces. Modular devices have expansion slots that provide the flexibility to add new modules as required. The figure shows a Cisco Catalyst 9600 chassis in which you can install different configurations of hardware to address your particular environment, like this. And the last is manageability. Many basic, inexpensive switches are not configurable. A managed switch that uses Cisco operating system enables control over individual ports, or even the switch as a whole. Control includes the ability to change the settings for a device, add port security, and monitor performance. The network administrator in the figure is directly connected to the Cisco Catalyst switch using a console cable. Okay, the next point is LAN switch components. The Cisco Catalyst 9300 switch shown in the figure is suitable for small and medium-sized networks. It provides 24 ports and 1 gigabyte per second data ports with power over Ethernet (PoE). So that some device types can be directly powered from the switch. It also has two modular 40 GB per second uplink ports. The leads indicate the port and system status of the switch. The switch is equipped with a console and storage port for device management. Okay, this is the Cisco Catalyst 9324. This is power over Ethernet switch. Okay, here are the LEDs, the console port, and the storage port. All the LAN access ports and the uplink ports. And finish with these questions. True or false? The lower the device is in the OSI model, the more intelligent it is. This is false. The correct answer is false. The higher the device is in the OSI model, the more intelligent it is. A higher level device can better analyze data traffic and forward it based on information not available at lower layers. True or false, switch typically provide LAN connectivity and routers interconnect local network. That is true. The correct answer is true. A switch is used to connect devices on the same network. A router is used to connect multiple networks to each other. Which switch selection for factor are you typically considering when deciding that you want the switch to be configurable? Manageability. Okay. Which switch selection factor are you typically considering when deciding on the type of the uplink ports, the speed required? Which switch selection factor are you typically considering when deciding on interface that support twisted pair connection, type of ports? Which switch selection factor are you typically considering when deciding between modular or fixed configuration, expandability? A console cable is also referred to by what other name? is rollover cable. Let's see right here, rollover cable. When first connecting to a switch to configure it for the first time, you should answer no. The initial dialog question after answering no, what is the prompt? Right here, this is the prompt. And the last one is which two ports are typically used for device management, the console port and the storage port. Well, this is all for this module, Cisco switches.